Okay, welcome to our home, and just want to say to all the people, that's real coming there. I think I'll leave that in. Okay, all right, here we go. My name is Sterling Alexander. I'm the owner and director of operations for the Salem Sabres basketball team here in Salem, Oregon. And just wanted to thank all the Crew Fire production team about the consideration of doing a reality show here in Salem. We're excited as an organization. We talk to people in the community. They're excited about the possibilities. So we sure hope that everything goes well and we be able to make this happen. And so, how would I describe my personality? I would say my personality is kind of goofy at times, funny. I like to joke around, pretty easygoing. I don't stress a lot, or at least people see it. But overall, it just life is short, and just like to have a good time. I have my kids, my grandkids, things like that. So I've learned to appreciate just the small things in life, and that's just me. So, do I have any interesting hobbies? I do. I like to call myself like a one-timer. My bucket list, when I was younger, started out with things like whitewater rafting, rappelling, bull riding, skydiving, and things like that. So up until this point, I've had an opportunity to actually ride a bull. 4.7 seconds, and didn't get horned. I've been able to rappel off of mountains. I've been able to skydive. I did a accelerated free fall class down in Creswell, Oregon, to where I thought if I'm going to jump out of an airplane, I don't want to be strapped to nobody. And so there was an accelerated free fall class that I took that I was able to jump out alongside with some jump instructors, to where once I deployed my parachute, they just left me alone. So I was able to float down, and I would say my landing was less than perfect. So, but it was a great experience, and I loved it, and I'd love to do it again. Let's see, whitewater rafting, I got to do that in Colorado, and the rappelling I did in Colorado as well. And one of the things I always wanted to do was a shark's cage. So a couple years ago, we went to Hawaii, and actually me and my son Joshua and a friend of mine, Eric, we took advantage of that opportunity, and we got in the shark's cage. But I'd really like to go to like South Africa, where they have the great whites just kind of at the cage. So Hawaii, they kind of swam around. It was a good experience overall. Had a good time with that. Also went scuba diving for the first time. So, it's things like that. I think probably the couple things that I do have left is flying in like a jet. Flying in a jet would be so cool to me, and actually flying a plane. So there's a couple things left that I like to do. Then, other than that, I play a little bit of golf every now and then. Hit the ball around. And then I used to play darts a while back. So that's a little bit about some of my interests in hobbies and things like that. So my relationship status, I'm married. I've been married to my wife Rhonda for over 5 years now. We've known each other for 16 years. So we've been through a lot of things together in life. And, we've been married, so we have our stepson Joshua. I have, from a previous marriage, I do have other kids. Dwayne, Brian, Brooke, Bryce, and Brittany. So those are my other kids. And then we have our grandkids. I have 2 grandkids in California. And then I have my granddaughter, whom we're raising now, Lily. And you'll get to see a lot of Lily. She's actually Grandpa's sidekick. A little bit about how we got started with the basketball team. I own a cleaning company, Incovenant Cleaning Services. I've had since 2008. And was talking to a friend of mine, Ashley Robinson, who lives in Bremerton, Washington. And I was talking about expanding my cleaning company. And so I talked to him, and we're looking at some contracts down the I-5 corridor. and looking at some government contracts. So I called him. I said, hey, I'm looking at some contracts, in the Seattle area. Would you be willing to work, or do you have anybody that would like to work? And he was like, yeah, I could put some of my players to work. And so I've known Ashley. I know he's played some semi-pro ball. And so I thought he was talking about a rec league. And so we got on discussion. He said, now, I own a pro team. And I was like, man, get the hell out of here. I was like, how can you own a pro team when you broke it I am? So we laughed about it, and he's like, man, yeah, serious, I own a team. And so he gave me the number to the commissioner. I called the commissioner. This is with the ABA. So I called him, and he said, Sterling, he said, I've never had a team in Salem. And he said, currently right now, we don't have an ABA team in Oregon at all. So I was like, yeah, okay. So I kind of sat down, started milling it over and thinking about it. And my dry erase board here is my big thought board. I have, ideas and passions and stuff that I put on here. So I just started sketching things out. And it started out as a potential business, I thought. And, as we begin to go on, things begin to change. And we saw, and even talking with Ashley, saw the potential impact that this would have in the community. So we begin to build the foundation of the basketball team on that. So that's kind of how we got started, and we committed to playing semi-pro ball. Well, I wouldn't say we. I committed. My wife was less than thrilled about committing. So we started in June of 2012, and so the season for the ABA started in November. So we had tryouts in late July and August of 2012, and started beginning to assemble the team and coaches and players and things like that. And things fell into place pretty easy, and pretty fast. Then we started our season in November. We were not going to do a dance team at first, but that I was contacted by a young lady who was interested in starting the dance team with the team, and so I gave her that opportunity, and that began the great Salem Sabres dance team, which we had some tremendous girls, some wonderful girls that did some things funny and dramatic, but they overall in all they did a really good job. Explaining the cleaning business. Incompany Cleaning Services was established in July of 2008. I was working at a cogen unit, which we produced electricity, and a guy had a cleaning company who needed help. So on my days off, I had some good time off, and I love exploring things. I love doing things like that, entrepreneurial type things. And so I told him, I'll help you out. And so the first day I went out, I got a contract. And I went out again. I had actually 2 more contracts lined up, and we really sat down to talk. And he said, we couldn't come to an agreement on a commission. So I told my wife, I said, hey, if we can't come to agreement, I said, I think I'm just going to work these, and work part time and work at the coaching unit full time. And so after about 2 months, I had those 2 accounts, and then went out, got another account, and it became to where it was, hey, I couldn't handle both. So I told my wife, hey, I think I'm just going to pursue this full time. So in 2008, we started the company and went full time with it. Can you talk a little bit about your other businesses, Body by Vi and Upset Uniforms? I was approached by a friend of mine, Madiba Thompson, who's been doing Body by Vi, which is a health and wellness platform. And I'm always looking for things that I can incorporate with the basketball team as well. And so we thought, health and fitness type things would do well. So I started Body by Vi. Got active in it really just a few months ago, wanting to lose some weight myself. So I joined Body by Vi, and over the course of a few months, I've lost about 15 pounds. So, which is awesome for me, and still have about 35 more to go. So Body by Vi, it's a side company, and I think for me, I've always had that entrepreneurial attitude or spirit. When I lived out here, I was working for the state of Oregon, and had some extra time, so I started Alexander's Pressure Washing, in which I did that for about 3 years. And my first contract I got was with a vineyard here. Didn't know anything about pressure washing. All I knew was algae on the wall, and somebody needed to clean it, and I had to figure out ways to do it. So there were some interesting stories of how I accomplished some of the tasks of getting on a roof and learning how to rappel overnight and things like that. So, and then getting to a huge tower that I had no idea how I was going to get to it, but found a way to make it happen. We've also owned a restaurant here in town for about a year. My wife, she was managing the restaurant, and it was called the Willamette Bistro, and so we had that for about a year, and she was overwhelmed with a lot of work. She worked constantly, and then she got hired at Cisco Food Corporation, which she's been there for nearly 10 years now. And now, by the grace of God, she's had the privilege of telecommuting from home, and pretty much one day a week she goes to Portland. Upset Uniform. We're in the beginning of Upset Uniform, and I met a Japanese fellow through the IBL, which is the second league that we participated in, and he owns a uniform company, and he was looking to expand here in the United States. And so when I heard that, first I was impressed by the uniforms. He does a sublimation process that's phenomenal, and so just gears turning, as my mom called them. She said, the hamsters I have in my head. That helps me think. So we sat and we talked, and I came up the next day and we met, and I had a short marketing plan of how we could market in the United States, and so he said, let's go for it. So right now we're just kind of in the planning phase of trying to start marketing here in the United States. And it says, tell us something about the players that help clean occasionally. We've had the coach and a couple assistant coaches that have come out to help on projects. I had a huge window cleaning project, and if I'm able to help some of the players, earn a little extra income, I'm more than happy to do it. It's having the cleaning businesses has allowed me to be able to do that at some time and provide income when needed. Because most of these guys work part-time jobs, full-time jobs, or some are still in school. They have families, so it's a way to provide that help to some of the players. It says your wife officially owns the team, and what is the relationship between the owner and director of operations? Let's see. My wife, since I own the cleaning company and I run a cleaning company, we just thought, hey, here's something that you can own as well. And so my wife owns the company, but I run it. So we can just get all that straight. She probably disagree with you, but we know that Sterling runs it. And it says, are there ever any conflicts, like marriage arguments spilling over into basketball? I wouldn't say that it's marriage arguments spilling over into basketball. It's basketball spilling over to marriage. We've had some conversations about the time that I put into the organization. It has taken away from some family times, but I see that the potential on the other end is with the vision that I have for this, she'll be happy then. So yeah, absolutely, we've had some pretty good arguments about basketball conflicting with family life and things like that. And but she's still here. She's still supporting, and she comes out to help. So yeah, I'm sure that you'll probably see some wonderful discussions between her and I. It says, describe the commissioner of the IBL and what is your relationship like with her. The commissioner from the IBL, her name is Charlene. Charlene is from Canada, and I would say the most funny thing about Charlene is we have a different pronunciation of the word process. She says process, and I say process. And so I kind of like to jab that in, well, not jab, I put it into our conversations when we're talking about the process. So, but Charlene, she's come to she came to us when we were playing our ABA season and offered us the opportunity to play in the IBL. Charlene, she's driven. She's in the process of trying to rebuild the IBL. Not only in the United States but internationally as well. She is, her and I, we have different backgrounds. So I think at times when we first met, my joking nature, my funny nature, she didn't know how to take it. And along with Ashley and I, we joked a lot because Ashley participated in IBL as well. Ashley owns the Kitsap Admirals, and so I think our personalities are a lot are different. So I tend to be a lot sarcastic with her, and pretty much say what I want to say, and and sometimes she does too. So we've had some interesting conversations. She's pretty strict. I know when we started our season, she was like, your coach got on jeans. That's not a policy. And she started talking about logos and patches and all those things. And I'm like, man, we're just getting started. We had 2 weeks to prepare to go into the IBL season from the ABA season. So, some of the things that, we were not up to par on the, some of the things that transpire in the IBL. So we had some serious discussions about coming up to code with the IBL standards. So I'm going to take a break here because then we're going to get into talking about some of the players. And it's going to be pretty interesting. So, be right back.